Well, hello, Blades. My name's Hal. I'm going to look back over Sheffield United's victory against Stoke City for beautiful downtown Bramall Lane. Pop yourselves in the comments. Let me know where you're watching from and what you made of Sheffield United against Stoke. If we go straight from the top, George Baldock, Ender Stevens missing out, we now know, through injury, whilst Lowe, Bogle, Jackie Longthrow, McAtee, all were in the starting 11. Billy Sharp remaining up top. What do you think about that? Many suspected Daniel Jefferson after a really good performance and a good cameo performance in the prior two games. Koulibaly was named amongst the substitutes, but we wouldn't see him. Michael Salisbury was the referee for this, despite the EFL website declaring Chris Kavanagh would be the man in the middle. So if we jump straight into the first half, Stoke fans, I thought, in good voice with Delilah from the off after we'd heard Greasy Chip Butty, the best song in British football. And the first shot came from Stoke. Baker outside the box after good running from Powell. I thought Nick Powell was dangerous throughout. But the shot was straight at birthday boy Wes. And 5 minutes in, I thought United hadn't really got into the game. And then it was 3 minutes of United very much in the game because the goal came, great tricky feet from Iliman Ndiaye on 9 minutes through the midfield, just before he would be picked out by Max Lowe on the left-hand side, a really composed cross by Lowe, who I thought had a decent game. And it had been McAtee who found Lowe. His cross reached Iliman Ndiaye, and the Senegal international just passed it through a crowd of bodies and into the back of the net. And that was 1-0. I thought, while we mentioned McAtee, he showed nice feet on numerous occasions in the first half, had a decent shot over the bar, and also worth mentioning a moment where four Blades were really expressing themselves with a really nice spell of passing. It was fast. It involved Lowe, Jackie Longthrow, McAtee and Ndiaye. It was on 13 minutes if you want to check it out, if you get a chance to watch the whole game again. But it didn't come to anything, but it showed the intensity with which every opponent, I think, has to come out and tackle this unified United side. And, you know, you sometimes don't know from the outside, but I get the feeling that this is a group that really actually like each other off the pitch as well. And that whole first half was good to watch. I mean, the press, the boys were playing, it forced Stoke's players, I mean, their former pig, Fox, which sounds like a pig fox, their former Wednesday player, Fox, he played the ball out of play on 18. And that really was a moment that summed up the style of play United were going for, kind of forcing the errors. Yes, Stoke had moments of greater possession in the first half, but the Blades, I thought, looked in control in the first half. First corner, though, did fall to the Potters. A mishit cross pushed behind by Wes. It came in from the right on 21 minutes. I always fear, and maybe it's kind of old hangover from the Pulis days, but I always fear a Stoke set piece. And Wes was actually hurt a few minutes after that. Former Stoke keeper Adam Davies was not required, but he was seen warming up. And then we saw the Blades' second goal on 33 minutes. And I like this one a lot. Jayden Bogle kept going down the right. He won it himself initially from Laurent, who saw a lot of the ball for Stoke. Bogle got into the box, shot, took a deflection, I think off Jagielka, and in it went. Bogle, a real live wire, striding forward across the pitch with power, purpose and poise. I thought Bogle was magnificent in this game. He's my man of the match. I'll just say that now. Spoiler alert. We saw a goal from Stoke. They had a great chance on 45, not to be, but then Powell scored outside the area. He chipped the ball in. It was a cross. He was looking for Brown, the Potters striker. He was in and around the cross, but obviously that cross was looking for him. But despite flicking his head, Brown, he didn't touch it, and it was in the right corner of Wes's net. I thought that was very fortunate. Was Wes impaired by his injury? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. 3 minutes of added time at the end of the first half, they were up. And despite United playing well, the lead was only by 1 goal. Stoke had actually had more shots, 7 to United's 4, but only twice did I ever really feel concerned. And those were the times just before Stoke scored and when Stoke scored. Stoke had also committed more fouls in that first half, but despite that, no cards from Michael Salisbury for Stoke. And I was concerned as well with the performance. And I wrote down this note: Sander Berge, lackadaisical display, letting players get past him. He always seems to do more further up the pitch, Sander, not in that deeper role. Just my thoughts, but I welcome yours. Second half, Adam Davies, the backup keeper, at half-time, was having like one-on-one training. Normally, he just does a kickabout with other subs. There was definitely some concern from the Blades coaching staff over the fitness of Birthday Wes, but Adam Davies didn't come on. In fact, no changes at the half-time break. And this was a second half I didn't really enjoy watching. First booking on 56 minutes for Laurent after he fouled. Iliman Ndiaye, he pulled his shirt. Norwood took the ensuing free kick, which went over the bar. I'd like to see McAtee take a few more of these set pieces. Doyle was the first sub on for James McAtee, his Man City loanee midfield teammate on 58. I'd have taken Sander off. I like Sander a lot, just wasn't his day today. And actually, it hasn't been his day for a few days. So this was a bit of a strange substitution for me because I thought McAtee was playing well. Billy Sharp couldn't hold the ball up a few times in this game. There was one moment when he couldn't hold the ball up. Bogle then had to foul Laurent on the hour. Then Bogle, of course, got a yellow because of that. Baker took the free kick low, and Wes took a couple of steps and gathered it. Very comfortable. The match for me was screaming for Daniel Jebbison. You know, by the hour mark, I'm saying, get Jebbo on. But here we are. He didn't go on at that point. And in fact, on 63, Egan picked up a booking for a foul after a misplaced Anel pass. You don't say that too many times. It led to Stoke hitting United on the break, and the Blades were back to playing in second gear as Stoke were having a bit more of the ball. I thought United were guilty of giving the ball away a bit too much. The away fans were getting behind their team, who seemed to be visibly swelled. They were gaining in momentum. And actually, had it not been for Iliman Ndiaye on 68 going down, I think Stoke would only have continued that momentum, but it really did. It killed it for that moment because it was such a long time that Iliman was down. You never want to see that. Iliman Ndiaye, I have said on this channel many, many times, is integral, is vital, and in my opinion, will go on to be the best player who I've ever seen play for Sheffield United. But Jebbison replaced him, and I thought Jebbo did well. Berger hit a shot over the bar with his left foot, and he had to hit the target. It was the busy Bogle creating, laying it off to Jebbison, who flicked it back. It was beautiful, intricate football, and Berger in the box fired over with no composure on 75. I thought that was a gilt-edged chance. Sharp then off, Osborne on 77. Stokes Brown with a dangerous header. It was Campbell's cross, the header straight at Wes on 83. Stoke had the better of the second half. There's no two ways of looking at it. Dwight Gale as well came on at 85 for Jordan Thompson. I think a lot of us thought Dwight Gale would score a lot of goals in this championship, but it's not looking that way. And Millwall, I think, had been our only complete performance since the World Cup. And I'm actually sticking with that sentence. But we did get a third goal. Doyle on 90 to Bogle, inside to Doyle, who crossed it back to Bogle in the box, and he beat the keeper to wrap up the 3 points. Stoke were throwing everything forward, and United hit them on the break. You know, on our own patch, hitting teams on the break. It was like being back in the Premier League. Bogle's superb in this match, his second of the game, and no less than he deserved. Not quite sure it's what Sheffield United deserved. Wes then spilled a Brown chance on 92, cleared into touch. Not Wes's fault at all. It was just one of those. Jebbison was then, I thought, clean through. Suter fouled him as last man. I thought he was last man anyway. Only a yellow on 94 from Michael Salisbury. A bit of a controversial moment. Had that been 0-0, I think we'd have been apoplectic with rage. And Stoke would actually keep the pressure on into the final throws of this game. And then I thought a bit of a relief full-time, 3-1. I mean, talk about being a United fan, 11 points clear, and I'm relieved at 3-1. And United could breathe a sigh of relief. So what about you? What about your thoughts on this game? James has said, keep them coming. As long as we do a professional job, depending on each game, we should be there. You look at the table, we should be there. It's going to be us and Burnley. It'll take some monumental SUFC F-up to ruin that. And if there's any team that can mess it up, I mean, I've seen Sheffield United do it before. Bernie is a big need, says Scott, in a want as well for next Friday. We need to score more goals in the first half to kill teams off. Exactly, Scott. I thought we were good in the first half and we were not good in the second. Sorry to hear that the traffic has not been your friend today. More thoughts coming in on this one. We always look capable of conceding, but still seem to grind out a result. That's called promotion for promotion, says Chef Paul. I'm concerned. But another way of looking at it is this is our bad spell and we're still winning. That's a sign of a good team, arguably. Or we're about to hit a bad spell and we've kind of just got through these. But I'm a little worried. Paolo says, great result. Little worried as well by second half, but it's a win. That's what matters. It is, you play meh, 3 points, promotion, form. I agree with that. Absolutely. There was a great watch along today, Captain Costa doing the honours. If you missed that, I think it's well worth going back sometimes and checking out the watch along. We'll have watch along highlights for you to enjoy. Let me know in the comments whenever you watch this video who your man of the match was. For me, Bogle. And Dye was also a contender. I'm also concerned. I want to know that he's okay and going to be back for the next match. But those are my thoughts on the game. A 3-1 win for the Blades. Sanderberger not playing well. I'm worried about that. I want to see a lot more from our Norwegian. Individual talent has shone through recently. You need both team performance and individual ones. I completely agree. Before our last bad patch, we won 2 games we barely deserved. I count this as a 4th game we've won that we barely deserved. Bit worried. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Stoke are always a bit of a bogey side for us. It's a good 3 points. They really are. I remember when I lived in Stoke, I never saw us beat them. It was 3 years. We're not playing well, but still winning 11 points clear. Very unusual at this time of the season. Enjoy. You're right, John. Maybe I should just enjoy it. But I think it's because I want to enjoy the football as well. And I get so nervous watching United. I don't really enjoy it, to be honest. It's a crazy thing. I'm sure people can relate. You don't really enjoy watching your own team. And it's full-time goes, and you're like, oh, but it's just so nerve-wracking. And I'm actually never more nervous than when we've taken the lead. Yeah, and I did want to stay on the pitch after injury. And actually did come back on. So hopefully a contact injury, which means it's nothing too serious. The injuries I always worry about when there's no one near you and a player just goes down. This one, he did have a player, I think it was Laurent again, who was actually the one who fouled him. Tracy, I'm glad you enjoyed that. Of course, it is entertainment at the end of the day. And sometimes some of the comments I read on Twitter, you wonder if some people are ever entertained. But overall, bit concerning with the form of the performances, but not the form of the actual results. Bogle was absolutely class. And yeah, I have no nails as well. I mean, really? There's nothing left on these. Such a nerve-wracking game. And I felt, and the reason I'm probably talking like this is it didn't need to be. It didn't need to be that kind of game. The Blades just the second half just sat back. And perhaps that was dictated by the fact that you had a player strolling around in Sander and Hecky didn't do what I thought he should have done, because you've got to send a message out. It's not how much your transfer value is, it's how much you're actually giving on the day. And I thought other players were doing more. And Billy and Berger didn't have the best games today. I love them both. You know that. You know how much I adore those two players, and they'll both have really important roles to play in the season. But you're just talking about a game, and on this game today, I didn't see enough from either of them, and I'd have hooked them, and I'd have brought on some hungry players. But just me. Let me know your thoughts. Always fascinated to hear them. Up the Blades. Until next time.